Yeah, it's interesting. We could go deeper on this major question, but I want to move to one other piece of this, which I'm curious, like how much of this is on colleges to help give some, reduce some of this anxiety and make it easier to choose. And I found this whole discussion in the book about the great student swap really interesting, but I want to pull out one piece in particular, which is the part about Alabama and how the Crimson Tide made, quote, the rules for getting discounts very easy to understand for families perplexed by the black box of financial aid at other schools. So they have a clear objective formula, specifiable, verifiable, predictable. And as judging by more students going to Southern schools, and certainly the University of Alabama, it's arguably working. So sort of along this theme, like what can colleges do here? Should more schools be more transparent and upfront and committal about the full 4 years and what it's going to cost? Maybe more, what are steps that they can be taking?
I mean, it's simple, Michael. They need to be more transparent about their outcomes in general, and about money. And I think you're right on Alabama. But the other thing is, I recently hosted a webinar on something also that's in the book around teaching. Like, we have no transparency around the quality of teaching at any of these universities. And I might argue that, and people will argue that sometimes the quality of teaching is better at the less elites because the elite professors are more worried about their graduate students, or they're more worried about their research or writing their next book, right? Where other professors are more focused on their students and they grind it out a little bit more because they're not at these selective universities. But we just don't know. And which is, again, one of the problems I was trying to solve with this book is that I think colleges have created this problem by not really trying to differentiate around the things that matter to families. What matters most to families? Affordability. Just be super clear about how much this thing is going to cost us over 4 years. You remember, I think we might have discussed it last season, the story that I did on Syracuse in New York Magazine, right? Where they're throwing these extra dollars at students at the last minute. Well, like all these parents would say, why couldn't they just tell us this a couple months ago? Right? Like, why? This again, it just seems so simple. It keeps coming back to one word for me is transparency. The more transparent they are throughout the process about everything that they do, I think parents would actually appreciate that honesty a little bit from colleges and universities.